going to go ahead and get us started. Mostly, like, I just want to run through the process on this. So Comeback Capital is partnered with YBI to set up this TechEvolution virtual pitch. We have 7 companies pitching today to what is going to be 11 judges. I'm just going to run through the judges quickly who are here and judging today. So we have Allison at Hyde Park Ventures, an early stage venture capital firm focused on high growth and mid-continent technology startups. Chris at Kinetic Ventures, an early stage VC that leverages AI and data to change how startups are evaluated and funded. David Moon from Cultivation Capital. Cultivation Capital invests in young companies whose ideas have potential to transform the way we live and work. David Mortimer, Mava Ventures. Mava is an early stage investment fund operating out of New York City and focused on B2B SaaS and fintech startups. Garnett Harriman from Aperture Venture Capital. Garnett is co-founder and managing partner of Aperture VC, a $75 million fintech and diversity fund backed by the world's leading finance brands. John Eng from Rightside Capital Management. Rightside Capital Management is a technology startup investment firm focused exclusively on the pre-seed stage. Justice Mendez at 161 Ventures. 161 Ventures is an accelerator and VC firm investing in pre-seed, GovTech, and B2B SaaS startups. Zan Ali. Zan is at 2048 Ventures. Zan is a principal at 2048 Ventures, a thesis-driven earliest stage venture capital firm. Phil at Forefront Ventures. Forefront Venture Partners was co-founded by Phil in 2014. It's one of the largest and most successful angel list syndicates. We have Rob at Great North Ventures. Rob is a managing partner at Great North Ventures, an early stage venture fund with $70 million in capital under management. And then we have Tony Olivito, Comeback Capital. Comeback's an early stage fund investing in high potential companies located outside traditional VC hubs. The other regular judges had conflicts. So I want to talk through how we're doing this to make sure that everybody understands. These are 4-minute pitches by the companies. The companies are going in alphabetical order by company name. I am then rotating through the judges in alphabetical order by the judge's first name. I will go to 4 judges per pitch to each ask 1 question. Audience is asked to put their questions in the chat, and I'm going to pick one of the audience questions to read out. Then the founders have 2 minutes to answer all 5 questions that they get collectively. We're going to go through one by one, pitch questions for a company, do those 7 companies. When we're done with all 7 companies, the audience then votes via a Zoom poll, which we're going to launch, and puts their reason for picking their winner in the chat. This is important for people to do because we want companies to get feedback on what attractive about their venture. The judges are going to be asked to pick their winner and give 1 sentence verbally on why, and I'm going to call on them again in this alphabetical order by first name. After the vote, everyone's moved to the breakout rooms with founders. We're going to ask the audience to please keep yourselves on mute. So the companies here are in the following order are going to pitch: Arofa, Cyrisma, Empower DDS, Playfora, Scopify, Spokebee, and Supply Now. I am going to stop sharing. I'm going to, first of all, thank all the judges for volunteering their time to do this. Thank all the startups for pitching here. And I am going to turn it over now to the first company, Arofa, to go ahead and pitch, and I'm going to put myself on mute.
Thank you for the introduction, Scott. Let me share the slide deck here. Hi, I'm Travis, the co-founder and COO of Arofa, and we're helping manufacturers get their sustainable products to market faster by advancing biodegradability testing. In our first full year of operations, we were able to get to 400,000 annual revenue run rate, which largely comes off a historic Q2 of this year for us. And this comes from over 24 customers from all around the world, many of which are household names, and we're still actively adding several new customers every month. The problem that we're solving for these customers revolves around biodegradability testing. As these manufacturers continue to put new products in the market, there are more and more federal and state regulations being developed that require these products to have high levels of biodegradability. And the current testing process can be extremely time-consuming and also very expensive for them to undergo. So we offer them a solution that consists of several parts. First and foremost, we have physical innovations in our lab and novel testing techniques, which allow us to reduce the direct labor costs associated with doing the testing. And then we also offer predictive screening via artificial intelligence in our machine learning algorithm, which helps these customers better prioritize which chemicals and materials should actually undergo physical testing. And then we integrate these into an easy-to-use user platform so these customers can manage and track their projects from all over the world. And looking at our market size, there are over 30,000 new products put into the market every year. And from our own historical data, we've seen there to be about 10 components or ingredients per product, and leading to one commercial component. These companies typically undergo about 40 samples prior to this. And at our average price of $800 per test, it's no surprise this becomes a multi-billion-dollar market. And this really happens over a wide range of verticals, everything from CPGs or consumer packaged goods down to the chemicals themselves. And looking at the legacy competition that's out there, you can see a significant advantage in the turnaround time or the speed and the actual price associated with the testing. And due to our unique cost structure and that reduced labor costs, we're still able to maintain a very high margin while still delivering very cost efficient and time efficient testing. When we pair this with that mass prioritization algorithm and delivering this data back to them in real time via our user platform. And right now, all of our growth has happened organically through customers finding us, but we are starting several highly focused channels to reach additional customers, which largely consists of paid search ads for specific test methods that these manufacturers are looking for, and vertical specific conferences for things such as cosmetics or packaging. And we do offer our customers a very easy trialability of our service by having on-demand testing at first and then offering incentives to transition these customers to longer-term subscriptions. We do have an extraordinarily strong team. My co-founder and our CEO, Quan, has over 10 years of experience in the field and a PhD in environmental engineering. So this has allowed him to get a very deep understanding of not only the customer's challenges, but also the challenges that occur in the lab setting itself. And personally, I'm coming off leading the supply chain operations, business development, and product marketing for another hard tech company that went through Series A and now Series B. And we recently brought on a head of lab that has over a decade of experience in the field. We are currently doing a $1 million seed raise, which will largely go toward further building our automated system and then further building out our team, scaling our test capacity. And if you have any questions, more than happy to answer them and meet you guys in the breakout room.
Thank you, Travis. Okay, so we're going to go now. First question from Allison.
Nice job. How are you able to offer the testing so much cheaper than the alternatives?
Okay, next question from Chris.
Perfect. I'm just curious how you overcome lack of brand recognition or experience to sign these larger clients.
Thank you. David Moon.
Curious on what the gross margin looks like because it seems like mainly a service-oriented business.
Thank you. David Mortimer. David, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm sorry. How much savings does a typical customer make per year with your solution?
Okay, if we have any questions from the audience in the chat, I don't see any, so I will go ahead with one more judge here and have that be, who's next, Garnett?
Yeah, you caught me off guard. So I have sort of an amalgam question. I don't really understand what the physical testing looks like that allows you to create such a huge cost savings. So I'd like to kind of understand what the actual physical lab and the testing facility looks like and how it performs.
Great, thanks. Okay, Travis, you have 2 minutes for this set of questions, and I'll put myself on mute.
Okay, thank you all. So first and foremost, just going in order, we are able to offer testing at a lower price and lower cost due to some advancements that we've made in techniques, which largely comes in automating several of the processes typically done by human labor, and then also automating some of the sensory techniques that go on when you're doing the physical measurement itself. And then overcoming the lack of brand recognition. So we are actually an accredited laboratory right now. This really is the main draw for these customers because they can take our certification and go directly to those regulatory agencies still and receive that additional certification. And the gross margin with our advancements right now, we sit in the high 80s, 80% for our gross margin. And with further automation, so we even get into the upper 90s. And savings per year per customer. We'll use one typical large customer as an example, which is Lubrizol. And we've been able to deliver them in 2023, so about 6 months' time, about 300,000 in savings. So about 500 or 50,000 a month, so 600,000 in a given year. And the physical testing does actually consist of several reactors. And while this also might look very much like a typical lab setup, except with our innovations, we're able to reduce the number of physical reactors that occur in a given test.
Thank you very much, Travis and Arofa. We will move now on to Cyrisma. I don't know who we've got here, Oliver, Liam.
It's Liam. Oliver's not able to attend.
That's fine.
So I'm just going to share my screen out here.
Yeah, please share your screen and then whenever you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. My name is Liam Downward. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cyrisma. We are a cybersecurity SaaS platform. And what we work in is in many different areas. What we're trying to solve is a problem of too many cybersecurity tools out there, in the sense of there's so much that people end up having more tools than they actually need. The average of 15 tools per company. And then when you get to enterprise, it can be up to excess of 75 tools. Current solutions are expensive. There is not looking at how do we mitigate the risk of cybersecurity and making it easier for people to not get breached. Compliance requirements, and it's becoming too manual when it comes to certain things. So they're throwing more humans at it, which costs more money in the long run, and especially on total cost of ownership. Our solution offers many things in a single platform: vulnerability management, data classification, secure configuration, and the list can go on. What we're trying to do is providing 90% of what most organizations look for at a fraction of the cost, allow for 2.5 times faster meet complexity requirements for compliance, but also managing their FTEs, getting them to be more productive, and actually utilizing the staff that they have right now instead of augmenting new staff, without the ability to actually consolidate up to 5 tools or more into a single interface. And our goal is to be able to provide a simplistic cybersecurity approach that makes it accessible and makes it affordable, and it makes it available to many organizations of different sizes. Our market size that we're focusing on is focused on 3 key elements: channel, which is the managed service provider, or MSPs, or SOC as a service, security consultancy firms, resellers with the likes of Pax8, CDW, and direct sales with enterprise with 6,000 users or more. And we're focusing on key elements that are in a buyer initiative aspect right now. We're looking at, if we look at it as a $16.32 billion industry, and this is just in the US alone, we're focusing on a $1 billion industry right now of 11,000 potential clients that we're going after within the US. Now that can grow into bigger market size as we start going into different geographical areas. This is where we are from a traction standpoint. We're roughly now at $847,000 ARR. We have a net dollar retention of 96%. Average customer size for AR is 14,000. We do guerrilla tactics from a marketing standpoint. So our CAC is very, very low, but we have a very good LTV. And right now we're looking at being at break even around October of this year, going into December 2023 of actually being positive, cash positive, and moving towards another round in the beginning of early 2024. We have many customers out there from there. We have 47 MSPs, 2 resellers, 7 direct, and we have focus in channel and direct. And we have value there of each of the customers paying us on an annual basis within our environment. Our endpoint count is increasing at 10% each month. That's endpoints of under management from desktops, laptops, and servers. Our customers are saying a lot of good things about us. You go to G2, you'll find us out there. We're winning awards from them, and we're getting great responses from our customers and end users that use our platform. We're trying to reach $129,000 of MRR by the end of this year. And we're breaking it down into the MRR for each individual focus that we have. Channel, $71,000. We're looking at, almost $30,000+ for reseller and bringing over $20,000 in direct. We have brought in a bunch of expertise into our platform, and we're focusing on ourselves. We've brought in various different people from different walks of life, from working in cybersecurity, working in banking and e-commerce, and also poker stars for e-gaming and so forth into our environment. We've raised $1.8 million so far in our pre-seed, and we're looking to bring anywhere between 500 to 750 into this round, in our seed round, to focus on our goals within our
10
environment
seconds.
to achieve $129,000. And thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much, Liam. Okay, we'll go now to John with first question.
Yeah, congrats on the growth. That's fantastic. I'm just wondering what your moat is. First of all, you're selling to MSP, so that's fantastic channel. And I'm wondering what margins you're giving away. And then if you could talk a little bit about your service area of covering 90% with such a small team. Can you talk about like what you're doing differently?
Okay, John, we're going to work on a single question in the future, but okay, Justice.
That's perfect, because my question was around defensibility. Is there anybody else doing something similar? And if not, why couldn't somebody that has multiple offerings just kind of bundle it into one? So I'll take the first half of John's question.
There you go. Nice assist there, Justice. Phil, you're up.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. That was a great presentation, Liam, and congratulations on the success so far. I'm wondering, you said guerrilla tactics you're using to acquire customers, and that's why the CAC is so low. Can you talk a little bit about what those tactics are and whether you're planning on introducing any paid customer acquisition soon?
Great, thank you. And Rob?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, we'll go to Tony then.
Yeah, so question, is this unique software or are you bundling other security apps?
Okay, and I don't see any questions from the audience. Oh, yes, I do now see one. As your solution finds an issue, does it also remediate the issue? All right, so I will mute myself, and Liam, you have 2 minutes for these.
Are you on mute?
Yes, I am on mute, and I apologize for that. So I'll repeat what I just said. Okay, so getting back to margins, right now we're hovering around about 92 to 94% in our margins. From that, we have a specific element of understanding where our costs are from Azure all the way down to the software development from an endpoint perspective. We're trying to keep our price low and keep our margins as high as possible to meet a supply and demand scenario in cybersecurity. Next thing is what we're talking about is where we're focusing on is MSPs, MSSPs from a channel, And that's really key because they're really focusing on what we're trying to do. So that goes into defensibility on why we're offering these solutions. Now we're looking at a tool consolidation, and they're looking for solutions because MSPs and MSSPs are focusing on more cybersecurity these days, and they need to have tools in their technology stack, but it becomes very expensive. So it hits into their margins. So it allows us to be able to provide that function into our platform overall when it comes to pricing and our costs. Now, there was the question around marketing tactics. Now, we do a lot within social media and Reddit. We get a lot of MQLs in for Reddit. All our inbound is coming from social media, working through groups and so forth, and resellers, reseller groups that are in these communities, and they're providing feedback on usage and giving them information back on what they're doing. Now we're moving into more of a strategic approach in this next round of funding to market ourselves a little bit more efficiently, even internationally as well, because we're starting to gain some traction in Australia, South Africa, and different areas. And it is our own software. We don't bundle in other people's software into our platform. We built it from the ground up, which allows us to keep our costs low from a software development standpoint and allows us to be nimble. I think there was one more question around what stops somebody else from doing what we're doing.
10 seconds.
When you have the Titanic, they can't move very quickly and they can't be nimble like we are. So we developed it to be nimble and quick within our platform.
Okay, thank you very much, Liam. Liam, if you could unshare, and then we will go to Empower DDS.
Thank you, Scott. My name's Elliot Feldman. I'm with Empower DDS. What we're doing at Empower is changing how the world approaches their oral healthcare needs. Our platform is the platform every dental office will need in the next 5 years to stay relevant and profitable. Every year, 77 million uninsured Americans go to the dental office and spend over $64 billion in cash. The cash flow from these patients is irregular, with fees varying by patient. The average cash patient visits the dentist once a year for cleanings or less. The suggested protocol for cleanings is twice a year, which means dental offices are missing out on a second revenue stream, while patients also aren't getting the services they need to keep their oral health care at the highest. Dentists want to make this cash flow more predictable and keep it in their practice long term. That's where Empower comes in. We are the platform dental offices use to secure that cash and ensure their patients are both profitable and predictable. We do this by setting up insurance-like products called membership plans. Our platform allows the dentist to include all the services they think the patient needs for proper oral health care. We go about this by sitting down with the dentist and say, if you could give these, or if you couldn't treat your family, what services would you want them to have to stay healthy? We then model these services out against the dentist's cash fees and create a plan that is transparent for the patient, easy to understand, and also results in more profit for the practice. Our platform generates 63% more profit for the dental practice versus the average insurance reimbursement, which is vital right now because cash patients represent the last bastion of profit for dental practices. Our platform also represents a 43% increase in cash patient visits. If you remember, I just spoke about how cash patients don't come in twice a year, but dentists believe they should. So every dentist sets their plan up with twice a year dentistry. The dentist collects that second revenue stream, whether the patient shows or not, but ultimately it results in a patient coming into the practice for more preventative and more restorative. The total US dental market is about $162 billion, of which $64 billion of that is cash. $34 billion of that cash is spent on preventative care. We call this the low-hanging fruit because each and every one of those 77 million uninsured Americans needs a form of preventative care. So if we look at how this applies to Empower, the $34 billion in cash preventative care on our once merged on our platform will generate between 6 and 15% profit for us from our share. That results in a $2.7 billion potential profit for membership plan software. We launched in February of 2020 and ran into significant headwinds with the COVID pandemic. We began scaling in January of 21. Since then, we've seen good solid growth from our small team of 3. From June 22 to June 23, we saw 200% patient growth on platform. We collect $35 per patient per year on average. We have over 3,000 patients on plan as of May of 23, and we anticipate being at $25,000 a month in recurring revenue by December of 2023. If we look at our competitive landscape, there are several companies in the space, but none has developed a dominant lead. The other platforms are either too rigid or too expensive for dental offices. Our flexible tiered plan gives the dental office the ability to jump in without the fear of excess fees. Our biggest competitor is self-administered plans by the dental offices themselves, and we go about replacing these by making something that is more secure and more affordable for the office without excessive overhead of human interaction with the platform or with their own plan. So in summary, we are well prepared for mass expansion and hyper growth
10
within the
seconds.
next 2 years. We are seeking a $2 million round, of which we have $750,000 secured. Thank you, and I await your questions.
Great, thank you very much, Elliot. Okay, Zan?
Thanks, Elliot. I actually grew up in a dental practice setting, and my family had launched something very similar to this in-house. You were getting to it towards the end of the pitch, but I'd be curious to hear about kind of like how you think about long-term defensibility here and what's so unique about the product that dentists wouldn't be able to build themselves.
Thank you. Allison, your question?
Yeah, would love to hear about how you are acquiring dentists, and then how are the dentists pitching it to their patients to acquire the patients?
Thank you. Chris, your question?
I guess I'd be curious, just the pushback from dental offices. Is it just implementing new software as a barrier, or is it truly something else?
Thank you. David Moon.
Yeah, happy to try to send this to our digital healthcare team, but other than that, my knowledge of the space is very limited.
Okay, thank you. David Mortimer.
How did you come up with this idea?
Okay. Is there any question in the chat? If not, I'll can do this to Garnett again. Oh, yes, we got it from Brian. Can this be part of an employment benefits plan? Okay, Elliot, I'm going to put myself on mute and you have 2 minutes for the questions.
All right, so to talk about the long-term defense, we have products and features. Essentially, the competitive products were all licensed out on a rigid platform. We built our platform from scratch. So we have things in our platform like restorative cash to give you the easiest understanding. If you shop at a grocery store and they give you discounts on fuel, we've incorporated that in where the office can offer a rebate to the patient for long-term restorative credits based on what the patient spends on their membership plan. The reason dental offices won't do this themselves, having somebody manage a plan, especially with attrition in dental offices, leaves the plan susceptible to embezzlement, fraud if the patient or the employee leaves while password securing that Excel spreadsheet. Having something that's cloud-based, third party, gives protection to the plan and also is completely transparent on where revenues go. We acquire dentists via outside rep, social media, and referrals. The dentist then, via our training, we come in and train the dental office for a day on how to approach patients, talk to patients about the membership plan. We do charge for that training. We then get the employees geared up to talk to the patients and offer the plan to the patients. The biggest pushback in dental is they tend to be price conscious. So just explaining how our platform is nets out to be cheaper than their employees running the plan themselves, because you don't have to pay somebody hourly to manage our plan. And how did I come up with this? I've got 12 years in dental, of which I spent 5 years running one of the largest branch of the largest distributor in the country. I saw the plans that offices were implementing, and I saw the third-party plans. All of them were good. They just weren't great. So what I did was figure out from going backwards and figuring out what dental offices need, built a platform around that, and the results have been pretty exceptional with offices embracing it.
10 seconds.
And I apologize, I believe there was one more question, but I missed that one.
No problem. Thank you very much, Elliot. We'll go now to play for. Oh, and Elliot, can you unshare?
All right, it looks like I'm good to go.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeff Spencer and I am the CEO and one of the founders of Playfora, a payment platform that's transforming e-commerce. Every day, thousands of business owners are building private communities online to take advantage of this new e-commerce sales trend that's growing quickly in popularity. We call it the raffle selling method because that's ultimately what it is. It's a raffle, but with a limited number of entries so everyone knows the odds. And it's used to sell high cost items like golf clubs, power tools, watches, and even Wagyu beef. Sellers use it because it ultimately expands their market by reaching the individuals who desire their product, but lack the financial means to easily afford it. And for the buyers, they love it because it's this exciting experience with the potential to get something they've always desired at a fraction of the cost. But there's a problem. Anti-pooling regulations have made it so technology doesn't exist to aid with this type of behavior, making this process extremely time-consuming and impossible to scale because all the steps must be done manually using multiple tools. From start to finish, it takes over an hour to complete with at least 50 points of direct individual one-to-one type of communication. So there's all this, we built software that provides a technical solution to this problem. Our patent pending process replicates the pooling of payments while still complying with all those anti-pooling regulations. And then we took that process and we built it into a platform that automates all the manual steps, reducing the time it takes from just a couple of hours or from over an hour to just a few seconds with nearly no communication needed. We have sellers all the time selling $1,000 items in under 10 seconds. Since releasing our app in August, we've grown revenue an average of 49% month over month by charging sellers a 3.5% fee. And we've done this, had this growth with no marketing. But our goal isn't to just capture the current groups and the current sellers out there who are using this process. Our goal is to capture the process as a whole, remove the barriers and put the infrastructure in place so that all retailers and anyone who aspires to be an e-commerce entrepreneur can use this game-changing method of selling. So that's what we're building towards. Step one is to continue onboarding these private sellers and communities to establish a critical mass of users who best understand our foundational technology. And then once we have enough users, we're targeting 10,000, we'll start allowing sellers to list their campaigns publicly for everyone on the Playfora network to see, ultimately creating one big network that we can sell to. And the promise of this functionality has drawn the interest of brands like Balsam Hill, the world's largest premium fake Christmas tree provider, who want to pilot with us because they believe that this method of selling would be a great way to offload older inventory without discounting their premium brand status. So we're raising additional funds to get that flywheel going and gain enough users to launch the public listings feature and start that pilot with Balsam Hill. Our team has years of experience in technology, sales, and leadership, including over 25 years of operating sales like Contest. We raised a total of $375,000 from some pretty amazing investors. And now we're inviting you to invest in the next frontier of e-commerce. My name is Jeff Spencer. Our company is Playfora. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very much, Jeff. Okay, so first we'll go to Garnett.
Where does the 400K get you in terms of revenue traction on an either MRR or ARR basis?
John, your question?
Yeah, so I'm kind of, I wonder if I should ask a question since we're investors in them. So
okay, we can just pass and go on to the next one. But,
yeah.
All right, great. Justice.
Yeah, what's the win rate on the consumer side for them, like playing the raffle and then actually getting a product? Do you see that kind of maybe if they're not really winning product that people might be kind of mad? I know there was like a Busy Bee, I forgot what it was called. There was a different platform that they used to run ads on TV that was kind of similar.
Okay, let's see, Phil. Question?
Yeah, I'm wondering about how raffle, what are the legal implications of running a raffle? It seems to me they would run afoul of the illegal lottery laws with prize, chance, and consideration. But obviously I'm missing something, so maybe you can explain that.
Okay, and Rob, your question?
I'm curious what you think some of the early adopter kind of e-commerce categories will be.
Great. Are there any questions that anyone wants to put in the chat here? Otherwise, I'll go on to another judge. All right, and I'm actually gonna skip Tony for the same reason that we skipped him before and go to Zan.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear a little bit about seller acquisition, especially at scale.
Okay, Jeff, you have 2 minutes and I'm muting myself.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'll start from the top and go down. 400 in revenue. It's going to get us to the 10,000 users and get us to the pilot with Balsam Hill. We see it being $30,000 in monthly revenue as the kind of starting point once we get there. From where that grows, we think it's endless opportunities. Win rate. So this is really up to the sellers at this point. We're looking to standardize this once we create that public listings feature. But there's a lot of the different sellers have different essentially margins on there. Some go high dollar games with a higher probability, and then some of the games are much lower, $1 or $2, right? So that really depends. Legal implications. So there's a lot. It's probably better if I would talk through this in the breakout session. But ultimately, we're using blockchain technology to help navigate some of those regulations. There's another piece of this where we're operating, a piece goes to charity. So we're operating in a pooling silo of philanthropy. There's a larger formula there. Early adopters in e-commerce, any premium product that's over $100. I mean, we're looking at, Balsam Hill is a good example. Their Christmas trees cost about $1,000. Golf clubs, anything that people are doing right now. One of our largest group does Wagyu beef packages. Just interesting things like that people want and desire, but they don't necessarily want to go out and spend their money on right away.
10 seconds.
Seller acquisition. Everything so far has been just hitting the ground, just B2B acquisition, from my background.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Jeff. Sorry, we're tough on the timing there. Okay, we're gonna if you can unshare your screen, and we'll go on to the next company, which is Scopify. And Vic, you're up.
Thank you, Scott. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Vic. I'm the founder and CEO of Scopify. Number one reason why companies can't scale fast enough is because sales reps cannot book enough qualified appointments. There are two reasons for that. One is lack of actionable data at sales rep level. And number two, it's very hard to build and scale empathy, which is really needed to book qualified appointments with buyers. Well, enter Scopify. Scopify is an AI sales rep that thinks like humans and performs like a machine. Solves for two most important problems in sales reps' world. One is it provides actionable intelligence to sales reps. Secondly, it creates empathy in their outreach. And most importantly, it books qualified appointments. While most of our competitors are looking the other way and creating static databases and low level of empathy with really low level of AI, we want to be in the top right quadrant and provide the right level of empathy built with the right level of AI. The evolution of our total addressable market has been very interesting. We started off as a data intelligence provider, and we were playing in the $24 billion data intelligence market. But then we soon realized that data is not just enough. We need to take next steps. And this was customer feedback. So we started building chatbots that sit on top of your email and your LinkedIn and convert our data into qualified meetings. And now our data and AI is being used by marketing teams to create curated marketing content. So we've already evolved from a $24 billion TAM to a $70 billion TAM. And with evolution being inevitable, we know that in a few years, humans will be replaced by AI's sales bots. And that's the time when talent and recruitment agencies will be disrupted. And we want to be at the prime of the disruption, thus taking our total addressable market to $100 billion. And we know that it is such a big problem to solve for. We cannot solve for everybody at one go. So we have really taken a vertical-based approach. Our customers in these verticals are seeing tremendous success. Some of them are booking meetings with Rolls-Royce, Ducati, Ferrari, Costco, and Walmart, and closing multi-million-dollar deals. We want to double down on that growth. We want to hunt for more similar lookalike verticals using our AI. And we also want to build more SKUs so that we can go and sell more data and more bots to our existing customers and increase our LTV from them. Our go-to-market strategy has been super simple. We have used our own product to sell our product. We've also created partnerships with different VCs and accelerators, which give us access to the breeding ground of our ICP, ideal customer profile, which is basically startups. Our financials from the first year has been very impressive. We've grown 300% year on year. Our ARR run rate right now sits at about 600K ARR. And we've been very capital efficient with the money that we have raised and the money that we have earned, because again, we really don't need a ton of VC money to scale, but we do need money. And I'm going to talk about that in some of the questions for product development. We want to get to a point where we are at $2 million in ARR, which then becomes the use case to raise the next Series A round. But right now, we're going to be raising a $2 million seed round in the next 6 months. And we are an Ohio-based company. We're looking for a lead for our next round. And we want to make sure that we're on the right side of the future when evolution happens from humans to AI. I want to bring the right set of investors and right set of customers with us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go to Allison for the first question.
Yeah, sure. How do you get the content that you need and the information that you need to effectively kind of make sure your outbound content reflects your customers' product, what they're trying to sell, their positioning, et cetera?
Thank you. Chris, your question?
I'd love to hear more around the data that supports empathy as a key part of the kind of outbound sales channel.
Thank you. David Moon.
We've spoken once, so we'll follow up later for the Series A.
Okay, David Mortimer.
Yes, same question as Chris. What's behind the empathy? So how do you provide the right level of empathy, basically?
Okay, and let's see, what is the 1, 2, 3? Garnett, question?
I was muted. No question. Thank you.
All right, let's see. We'll go see if there's any questions from the group, from the audience here. All right, if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and give it to you, Vic. You have 2 minutes for these questions.
Sure. So there were basically 2 questions. One is, how do we get the content that we need? And the second one was, how do we build that, empathy in our database? The first one is, the content that we're really using right now is being produced by AI, but it's being vetted by humans. And the feedback is really our moat, because we are staying very close to our customers. Any AI that we use has a human behind it who can then mark the AI to be correct or not. So it's really AI generated, but human vetted, which is really making sure that we are, not having many false positives or false negatives, which will eventually help us build the right models. And from an empathy perspective, it's the same thing. We are right now sitting in our customer CRMs, in their emails, in their LinkedIns, using a bidirectional sync. So we're learning how our customers write emails historically, what have won them contracts in the past, and using that data to then build the level of empathy that is needed to write new emails, new content. So it's really around the feedback, staying close to the customer, making sure that we are not providing a one-size-fits-all, but really understanding the vertical-based approach that we are taking so that we can own one vertical and then move to the next one.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next company, which is Mac, I guess, with Spokeby.
All right. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to introduce you to Spokeby, a configure price quote software as a service for complex manufacturing. So my name is Matt Cameron. I have over 10 years of experience in custom design and manufacturing, including 4 years teaching at MIT and launching multiple products, including the UVC sanitization sticker to kill viruses, the Aview modular glasses to interchange the lenses, and the workout gravity ball. Also with me, my CTO, Karina. She is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. She's a CTO and a full stack software engineer with experience managing software development teams and personally built V1 of Spokeby.com. And finally, Amance, he is the undisputed computer aided design speed champion. That means he's head to head. Amance can reverse engineer and design faster than anyone in any CAD anywhere in the world. Okay, so our companies who sell customizable products on average spend 34% of the sales cycle manually coding products. And any order that does not come with a 100% precise bill of materials won't be built correctly. These factors increase sales cycles, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars of lost revenue to our customers. Spokeby makes sales teams over 30% more effective through a proprietary pricing engine, AI design automation, and real-time 3D product visualizer. Spokeby's online platform reduces order errors by launching configurable products directly from CAD and facilitates production to our distributed manufacturing partners. In just 18 months since we've started, we've acquired 3 enterprise customers, generating $24,000 in annual recurring revenue, plus an additional $10,000 in transactional revenue with only $15,000 invested. And we're currently in discussions with leads that could potentially generate an additional $64,000 of ARR. Spokeby offers immense value to our customers. With our solution, customers can increase the sales up to $180,000 and staffing efficiency savings of $100,000, totaling a gain of $200,000 per year. Despite a product cost of $36,000 plus a percentage of revenue, the return on our customers' investment is 7x. And we're really excelling in areas where others are falling short. From scalable catalogs to marketplace network effects and connected manufacturing, we've designed our platform to address the specific need of complex and on-demand manufacturing and cutting-edge automation. So the global bespoke market is vast and it's growing. In the US alone, brands offering customizable industrial products represent a $25 billion market. The CPQ, or configured price quote software market, stands at about $7.3 billion. And we are currently targeting mid-sized companies offering on-demand build-to-order products with custom manufacturing, which is representing about a $1.8 billion market. Our funding needs are geared towards 3 main milestones. First, we want to release the version 2 of our website, which automates the seller experience to manage storefronts. Second, we want to achieve more product market fit by acquiring additional 10 enterprise customers. And third, protecting our intellectual property to help create a competitive moat on top of our trade secrets, ensuring Spokeby's unique position in the market. In conclusion, we believe products are better bespoke. Spokeby is not just a CPQ SaaS, it is a comprehensive solution for on-demand manufacturing. And we believe that we will make our investors and our customers
10 seconds.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope to talk to you guys in the breakout sessions.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll go for questions here. First question from John.
Oh, thanks very much. I'm curious about your moat and what makes you different from all the other CPQ vendors out there that are chasing this space.
Great, thank you. Justice, question? We may have lost Justice here. Phil, your question?
Yeah, I'm wondering how much manual intervention is required on your part and what the gross margins are.
Great, thank you. Rob, your question?
Oh, curious, your ultimate customer, is it the manufacturing companies that are basically fulfilling the orders, or is it someone else?
Great, thank you. Tony, your question?
Yeah, can you Can you describe your existing customers and your ideal customer profile?
And if we don't have any questions, I'm seeing in the chat, go to Zen for question.
Yeah, similar question to Rob's maybe, but I'd be curious, is this for prototyping or production scale kind of manufacturing? And then related to that, like, how do you think about repeatability from customers, as there's kind of like a one and done component here?
Great, thank you. All right, Mac, you've got 2 minutes and I'll mute myself.
All right, great questions. Yeah, super excited. So the first one was what differentiates us from others? We are the only CPQ software that is 100% cloud-based. We essentially remove the need to have a big software engineering team to launch one of these. We've automated a lot of that process by taking the single point of truth, which is in the CAD software, and automating it onto a storefront. My co-founder Karina is in here as well. She might jump in. Manual integration and gross margin. So we can, so depending on the level of complexity of the product, we will essentially do some CAD work, do some service work, and charge a startup fee. So the startup fees could be anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 that we could kind of do that manual work for. And then those customers will pay us a SaaS fee every single month. So one of our customers is a customer called StoreLock. They do modular drawer systems. You can see them on spokebee.com if you go on our products. We charged them about $10,000 to get started. They pay us over $1,500 a month. And they have hundreds of thousands of variations of the products that could be sold online, and their salespeople love, their product. That is an ideal customer. They're doing a packaging solution. They do their own manufacturing. They also do their selling. So they are a manufacturer who sells their products, and their products have catalogs of thousands and thousands of variations. This is for production parts. So this is not for prototyping. The parts that are here are able to be manufactured on demand at scale. We can incorporate manufacturing methods like StoreLock, which is complex assemblies, all the way down to simple 3D printed parts that could be manufactured at scale on prices, and laser cutting. Gross margins could be 50% on each part sold.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now we'll go to the final company pitching, Supply Now. Aaron, George.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aaron George, and I'm the CEO and founder of Supply Now. We provide tech-enabled services that provide food service distributors with logistical solutions for their independent restaurants. The average independent restaurant wastes roughly about $45,000 a year on unnecessary purchasing and logistics costs. We've broken this down to two fundamental issues. The first, a lack of logistical flexibility, which happens both on the restaurant end and on the distributor end. On the restaurant end, you can see there are many reasons a restaurant can run out of critical food, paper, or chemical supplies. This could be through wastage, inventory being miscalculated, or customer demand volatility. On the distribution end, we've seen traditional once-a-week routes with cutoff times, mispicks, supply chain shortages, among other reasons that cause this lack of logistical flexibility. We've also seen tedious ordering systems that cost the operator roughly about 5 to 8 hours every single week. So what do? We help distributors better manage their restaurants' just-in-time supply needs, and we do this in 3 different ways. The first, data-driven backfill collaboration across vendor stores and different vendors that allows us to guarantee product leveraging real-time data. We also provide refrigerated on-demand deliveries, leveraging non-CDL box trucks, cargo vans, and sprinter vans, and we leverage a hybrid fleet of internal fulfillment partners, gig economy partners, and third-party contractor companies. Finally, we provide an AI-enabled text and email platform that makes the process that much more frictionless for our customers, where we can onboard in less than 15 minutes. We can automate manual processes like order dispatching, and also product map across different vendors, as for the first point. Our average distributor location pays us roughly about $10,000 to save $20,000 every month, a 2x ROI on each dollar spent with Supply Now. We've generated roughly about 1.35 million in revenue since 2021. We did $500,000 last year, and we've done this from $870,000 raised. And this was from about a 17.5% margin historically, and we project to make 1.37 million this year, primarily through pilot partnerships with Restaurant Depot, Gordon Food Service, and others mentioned here. We were also accepted into Gordon Food Service's corporate accelerator arm, the Food Foundry, where we were 5 out of 350 startups that were invested in, and we've worked with them over the past few months to build out a national partnership to scale. And we were also part of the Youngstown Business Incubator, where we were awarded $150,000 in grants last year alone. Our key competitors, Instacart, Choco, and GoCheetah, are the ones that we've listed here, where we are a better value add by providing a combination of the following attributes, which are: we are a more economical solution, we provide just-in-time purchasing, multi-vendor capabilities on a given order, and on-demand logistics 7 days a week as early as 1 to 3 hours. Our target market of Ohio independents is $400 million with 23,000 independents. For 500,000 independent restaurants, it's $9 billion for our serviceable addressable market, and our total addressable market is $17 billion. Myself and Daniel Lozada previously co-founded Pastry Now, where we connected local bakeries and home bakers to college students late at night by allowing to sell their surplus product. Derek Rapkin, our COO, has over 20 years of restaurant and food logistics experience. And our senior tech and strategic advisors, Chris Cicciarello and John Kinefik, have over 20 and 14 years building B2B and SaaS companies along with multi-million-dollar exits. Thank you so much. We're here to supply you with the best solutions now.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll go to questions now. Allison?
Yeah, do you have inventory that you take on or infrastructure that you own? Like, do you have those kind of hard costs that are part of the solution?
Great, thank you. Chris, your question?
What are the customer or distributor milestones that you would need to hit to like justify moving into a different market?
Thank you. David Moon, your question?
Pretty curious to see competitors, because I think I've seen a bunch.
Okay, thank you. David Mortimer, question?
Yeah, regarding the competition, can you dig a bit deeper about your differentiation?
Okay, and not seeing any questions in the chat, so I guess Garnett has the last question if he wants it.
Yeah, there's a recurring theme here. Huh? So I'm very fascinated by this business. I guess the main question I have is, you describe your customer profile as independents, and it strikes me that you should be thinking very seriously about food trucks and mobile vendors, which seems to be among the fastest growing segments. And so do you think there's a fit there?
All right, Aaron, you have 2 minutes for these questions.
Sounds good. So I'll work backwards. Food trucks and mobile vendors, we actually already work with, and we've been seeing a lot of traction just because they fit very well with the just-in-time model, where ideally operators try to keep their inventory lean and rely on multiple deliveries a week instead of sort of the fixed once-a-week routes that regular food service distributors are generally used to. And then the third and fourth question were regarding competitors and digging deeper into differentiation. So right now, the primary competitors we've seen that are more on the B2C side are Instacart and DoorDash, Dash Mart essentially, where they have shopping, but at the same time, it's roughly about 10 to 40% cheaper, more expensive than our service after our markup, just because our niche is very focused on independent restaurants in the food service space. And we leverage our AI-enabled tools, which is part of our differentiator, where we're able to guarantee product by mapping inventory across different stores and leveraging a lot of this real-time data that distributors don't generally have as much access to solve a lot of these inefficiencies. And then we do not have any inventory. That's why we're focused on a just-in-time model where we leverage our distribution partners' warehouses. And the only hard costs associated right now are the trucks and vans, which are more for proof of concept as we scale. But the end goal is to leverage national partnerships such as GFS with Penske to work with leasing companies to solve this issue. And then the final question was customer and distributor milestones for new market expansion. So right now we've seen, at least on a per store basis for a monthly net revenue, we at least look at a threshold of achieving 7.5K in the markups that we make,
10
which
seconds.
is 13 to 18% for deliveries and 5% for anything that we shop for orders to be picked up in store. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron. Okay, so now thank you to all of the participants who pitched. What I'd like to have is the YBI folks to launch the poll here so that the audience can begin to vote. And then I'm going to go through in alphabetical order by first name, asking each judge who they picked and one sentence on why. So if you could go ahead, and we'll start with Allison here.
I feel like I'm on the spot. I picked Empower DDS. I thought, large market, really fixing a need for both dentists and their patients.
Great, thank you. Chris, your vote and reason.
I'll pick Supply Now. Really tough space to win in, but I think that the tight geographic focus is actually probably a good thing. And I thought Aaron had probably the best Q&A and seems to have a pretty great handle on the space.
Thank you. Who do we have? David Moon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Supply Now. Been looking at the B2B marketplace for quite a while, and I'd be curious on how the gross margin improves over time.
Great. Thank you, David Mortimer.
Yeah, so I picked Arofa. I like that the product, the solution looks disruptive on a market that looks quite sleepy.
Great, thank you. Garnett.
Supply Now. Know the space, like the sort of concentric rings of additional market segments that are there. Ghost kitchens, food trucks, catering, beyond the sort of narrow classification that he is targeting.
Great, thank you. John.
Yeah, I'm gonna excuse myself and play forward Scopify and Supply Now since we're investors. So excluding those, I like Charisma. I like the space. I love the channel play.
Great, thank you. Let's see. Justice is actually had to go, and he gave me his vote, and it is Scopify, and his reason is the market is growing and the solution is obvious. It's just down to who builds the best tech, but their business model is very clear and needed. So that's Justice. We'll go now to Phil.
Yeah, my pick is Arofa. I think it's a much needed solution. It's a real pain point in a rapidly expanding market, and their margins are decent. Seem to be improving, and so that's my pick.
Great, thank you. Rob.
I actually was going to echo what Phil said, Arofa, really for a lot of the same reasons. It's not a market I'm real familiar with, but just during the pitch, I felt it was the combination of high margins and just the need for, for better solutions for sustainability purposes. I think I think there's probably a lot of tailwinds.
Great, thank you. Tony.
Scott, I think I'm going to exclude myself from the voting since we've invested in most of these companies. So
okay, we'll just pass on you and Zan.
Okay, I will submit my vote for Arofa as well. I thought the pitch was very clear and compelling, really strong traction with good customer logos. And it feels very topical and kind of like top of mind in the space. And one of those like niche sleepy spaces that I don't think anyone is paying attention to, but might be very lucrative.
Great, thank you. Are we ready to show the results of the audience poll? So clear, I did the count, and it was a ROFA from the judges, and it appears like it is a ROFA from the audience as well. So congratulations, Travis and Kwan, for both of those. Thanks everybody for this. Now the next piece of this is we're going to move everyone into breakout rooms here. So if we can go ahead and launch those breakout rooms, so at least the participants, the pitching companies can get to there in time for the rest. And I would urge all the judges in the audience to at least drop by at least one company there. Thank you. And thank you everybody for your participation and your help.